Hello, I'm Dr. Farrokh Wadia and I work at the KM Hospital in Pune. Now, I'm going to talk to you today about World Kidney Day. You may ask, what is it all about? The World Kidney Day is mandated by the International Society of Nephrology and it's supposed to be held on the second Thursday of March every year all over the world. Now, doctors and their teams are very deeply involved in the details of their day-to-day work and inevitably tend to lose sight of some important issues and values which are involved in the care of patients of kidney disease. Now, WKD, as I'll call it, helps us to refocus on these once a year and give them due priority, brings us back to the job as it were. Now, this year, the theme of WKD is Living Well with Kidney Disease. Well, what does this involve? For decades, as we learned more about kidney disease and especially CKD, which is chronic kidney disease, dialysis and so forth, we became primarily immersed in the pathology of the disease, details of treatment, the technology of treatment like dialysis, and of course our successes and failures. And some time ago, we realized that this isn't enough and we started paying more attention to the prevention of kidney disease, especially CKD. And we came to this because we realized that as time goes on, treatment is becoming more and more expensive, and especially in a country like India, very few people can afford dialysis. So for the last 20 years or so, a lot of attention is being paid to how to prevent or to slow down kidney disease. But however, in all this, we lost sight to some extent of our patients as full-rounded human beings who had their own important needs, family and social lives, interests and activities, not to mention their own aspirations and values. Now, these unfortunately had often taken a back seat to the constraints imposed by the disease and indeed by some of the treatments like dialysis, which tend to restrict patients an awful lot. And so the quality of life for these patients became very constricted and lost all spirit, if you like to put it that way. So what we need to do is to refocus and realize that the patient is a whole person in her family and social context. Now I'm going to say her because instead of saying it, this is now the PC way of doing it. We need to empower her to overcome the constraints and to live a fuller and more expanded life according to her own needs and aspirations. And also, very importantly, to empower her to take a deeper interest in her own treatment. So our job, and when I say us, we mean the full team of doctors, nurses, counselors, and indeed all unit staff, is to help achieve this, not only for the patient, but also for their home caregivers, because very often the patient herself cannot manage on her own, and there's some key person at home who will be the home caregiver. So this means that there has to be a three-way partnership between the patient, the caregiving team, which is the medical team, and the home caregiver. And I think I must say that this possibly is very much more difficult in underdeveloped countries because of all our constraints than elsewhere. But I think this is a task which we all have to strive for. And this is the message of World Kidney Day this year. I mentioned World Kidney Day earlier, but in fact our program is going to go over the next 7 days as well. That there will be dance and music performances from our patients who will showcase their talents, as well as a number of patients will share their experiences of transplant life, dialysis, chronic ambulatory dialysis and so forth. And there will of course be a little bit of academic input as well on various subjects related to kidney disease.